You know, viewers, last time I picked the game, we played Brutal Doom, and we all had some jolly good fun with that, didn't we, Gabe?
Yeah.
But I don't think it was a responsible way to teach people how to take care of their environment.
And that's an important thing in this day and age.
So in order to teach responsibility, now that we've had our fun with Brutal Doom, now we're going to clean it up by proxy. In Viscera Cleanup Detail, still early access after all this time. In this game, you mop up blood in the aftermath of a hideous space disaster. Involving monsters, probably.
You're missing some.
Well, my mop's gotten a bit too bloody, and I need to find a bucket to dunk it in.
Oh, well, there might be a bucket.
Yeah, there's a bucket dispenser, and dispensers for a couple of other things.
Okay, so is this a linear thing where you have to, or is it just to get all of it?
You just get all of it.
Alright, so you can just walk through and get like a bucket and it's no biggie.
Yeah. I think the smart thing to do is to clean up the area around the disposal furnace and the dispensers first.
Slosh-o-matic!
So, here's a good place to start.
Slosh on it.
First thing we gotta do is get rid of all the bits, because if you drop the bits or let them or scatter them around, they'll cause more blood stains.
Oh, well.
So we have to be smart.
They're a tricky bunch.
Get rid of them first.
What bit's that? It should tell you what the bits are.
Know.
It should be educational as well.
Yes. Consider that, developers of Viscera Cleanup Detail, for the full version that will probably never
the
come.
body is full of a delightful variety of lumps and things that you can, be cleaning up, and you can all learn about them.
There is quite a bit of attention to detail in this already. Sometimes you find like data pads left behind by the soldiers that killed the aliens and saved the day.
Do they have like fluff text in them and shit?
Yeah, all related to stuff that's completely nothing to do with us, because we're just some kind of Jobsworth in yellow kitchen gloves who's just covering up deeds of hideous tragedy for the sake of our corporate masters.
I imagine there'll be a future where something like this exists. Just, maybe, 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years, when shit's just... There's like a dozen trillion humans. Nobody really cares anymore. We run into new alien species all the time. And now...
Bollocks!
Okay. Way to go, Yahtzee! First day on the job, flaming bucket of gristle.
Well, it's good.
Yummers.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't mop up this area first.
Yeah. Can the mop... I think that fell out too.
No, we're good.
That's good.
Because you also track blood around if you stand in the bloodstains. So that's why I save mopping up till last.
Ah, yeah, see, I didn't know that. I was gonna go, alright, bust out the mop, off we go. That's my inexperience showing, you see.
That's why you never make it in the janitor course.
Nope.
What the hell?
You're Rimmer, I'm Lister.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
I caught it. I'm the best janitor.
Yeah, you're Rimmer, I'm Lister.
I am.
I'm your assistant.
This game is plagued by physics bugs, because it is early access.
I could see.
But having said that, it is quite impressive that they managed to put physics objects inside another physics object without having it completely spaz out.
Yeah. That actually is, yeah. Because normally every time you do that, first thing it does is go apeshit.
Right, were there any more bits around here?
Nah.
Can we start mopping away?
Looks pretty bit-free. You might need a bucket to wash it, though.
Oh, hang on, does this open?
That's like a whole other level. I'd leave that for later.
Well, let's just get a lay of the land.
Alright. For all we know, this could be a load screen, and that means you have shit.
Okay, we'll take care of that later then.
That's... Okie dokie. You got blood in the elevator.
Oh, blood in an elevator. Sorry.
What's that?
That's my bucket.
Oh, okay. No, I know what the bucket is. I was talking about your blood in the elevator song.
Oh, it's a play on Aerosmith's Love in an Elevator.
Oh, okay.
But that would have been fucking hilarious to people who've heard that song.
Yeah, see, I don't listen to Aerosmith.
You're wrong to not do that.
Yahtzee loves power metal. Or whatever variant of metal that is.
Yeah, that's what happens if you let the mop get too bloody.
Damn.
Keep splashing stuff.
This game's strict.
It is quite ruthless. I mean, the bucket gets bloody really quick as well. You have to get a new one.
Careful, it's gonna start squirting blood, and that looks like it's probably done too. Yep.
Yep. To the furnace with you.
Oh, so you gotta put everything into the goddamn furnace.
Yeah, I think that's kind of dumb. I think you should be able to just empty the bucket and refill it somewhere. But no, you just have to get another one.
Well, you know, it's the hyper-capitalist future where everything is disposable and you don't matter.
They've probably invented replicators by now.
Yeah.
So who the fuck cares? Have all the buckets you want.
I have 1,000,000 infinity buckets.
Bucket a little bit stained with blood? Chuck it away!
Yeah.
Burn it!
Fucking get rid of it. You don't need to stand for that shit.
Well, I suppose it makes sense to burn stuff since we're covering up a disaster.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, too. There's probably an evidence disposal aspect to this.
There
Oh,
we
look
go.
at that.
Disaster? What disaster?
Swish.
Oh, that one.
Bring in the next layer of scientists.
Right, well, this is going to get samey.
Really? Ooh, look at that. Look at it. Look at it.
As I said, physics fuck-ups abound. Oh, bollocks!
Ah, marvelous.
Luckily, that's easily fixed.
That's great.
Actually, we've got a ready-made part container now. We can just pick up some bits.
Hey, what's that doodad?
What do that?
You walked past a fucking gun.
Oh yeah, the gun. You can break up large physics objects into smaller ones, but I don't try not to use it because if you hold it for too long, you leave scorch marks. Look, I made a little prize basket for someone.
Everybody come get your lucky dip. I got a torso.
Prize basket for Mr. Furnace.
Is there a way of cleaning your feet? Like, how many times will you track blood around?
It doesn't track it for too long,
Yeah.
but you do have to be mindful of it. Actually, there's a slippy bit of floor here, which is annoying. Yeah, I quite like this game, you know.
I know. It's a sad testament to how much I genuinely enjoy cleaning and just neatening things up that this is actually enjoyable to me.
Yeah, it's alternative, certainly. It's another of the mindless games I like to listen to a podcast and play. Although there's no real like progression, you don't really, you know, win the level and move on to the next one. It's just all there at the moment.
There is no winning.
Because that's just life in the cleaning corps.
Yeah,
There's always more shit to clean up.
you're never making progress because it's all undone. It's the perfect Sisyphean task. You work really hard and you achieve, and then it's all for nothing.
Some bits I missed.
Like the bits.
Some fun in there.
That guy's having a nap. He's having a nap, that's all.
He'll soon be having a very clean one.
You want to spruce up my corpse? Just get under the eyelids. Make them look lively.
Well, anyway.
Lively.
I don't know why, like, just being a schlub working a job games appeal to me.
I remember when, like, exactly this was a joke, like, a little while ago, you know, when people were going on, I think it was during the racket of one of the first GTA games being a bad influence, and, you know, I was like, why don't we just make a game where you're a fucking warehouse worker or a cleaner, and you can't be influenced to do anything but a menial job you'll be stuck in for most of your life. And then they do that, and then it's weirdly fun.
Well, yeah, that was in Shenmue, wasn't it? You could be a forklift driver for a while.
What can you tell me about the 4 voodoo?
And there are plenty of actual forklift simulator games now.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of video games.
See, this is what I mean about, like...
I mean, this isn't necessarily a new thing. I mean, back in the old days, in like Commodore 64 days, you could just have a game where a man was mowing his lawn and being
Commodore
distracted
64
by dogs.
was a bit of an odd place, though. Like, if you just had consoles, you didn't see that shit. Like, I had a cousin with a Commodore 64, and I saw some of the better games, but unless you actually own one, you didn't really see all the kind of weird shit, like the little homebrew, or, you know, individually written. Back when games were written.
Yeah, you've made that point. There were a lot of... it was quite a bedroom programmery age.
Yeah.
Because most games were just made by one guy with a computer in his bedroom.
Before there were, you know, bazillion-dollar AAA teams.
I'm pretty sure we need to get rid of these too. Better safe than sorry.
In you go.
Okay, let's try and work this in sideways.
Come on.
There we go.
Work for daddy.
We'll just push that in. I do like the sort of the subtle humour of walking into a room where there's someone's written "Save us" in blood on the wall, or "There is no God," and we just gleefully, just like that, and we just gleefully clean it up, whistling as we do it.
Yeah, there is just...
More work for me. Oh,
What do I know? I'm just an illiterate cleaner.
More than my job's worth.
This feels like it could be tied into Space Quest quite easily.
There were actually bits in Space Quest where you did have cleaning up mini-games, like in Space Quest 5. But anyway, shall we talk topic? But what
can we? Yeah, it's been
what
slow.
possible topic could there be?
It's been a slow week, man.
In this week in early June. That was a facetious thing, for of course E3 has just been and gone. Did you pay much attention? I had to, of course. It's my job.
You were forced
but did you?
No. I let it filter through various other sources. So I have heard of a bunch of the, I've got the main bits and some of the little side bits, but...
Right. Once again, I have to carry this.
Yeah.
Gabriel had some blood taken out again, incidentally.
I had okay, so I'm on the very edge of how much you can do in terms of platelets, and they were like, let's just see if we can take that much.
Why do you keep doing that? It seems careless.
Okay, here's Yahtzee's thing about, his little negative thing to say about my donating blood. The blood that I donate might save the next Hitler.
Yeah. Are you saying that's a bad point?
Yes. That is a horrible, terrible point.
Well, tell me why you donate blood.
Because
if there was some kind of financial gain, I'd understand.
Wow, have you been reading Ayn Rand?
No, I'm just saying. I think where we differ, Gabriel, is that I don't believe that a single human life has any inherent value.
God.
I mean, I don't know if that's Randian. That's just what I think. I mean, I'm sure it's got a lot of potential,
on
but
some levels,
it's got potential, but that potential is so chaotic. Then essentially, the result is zero value.
Well, why not just be a?
It's like charging
an assistant and help people get to something positive.
It's like charging $10 million for every blank canvas because it might have the Mona Lisa on it at some point.
That's just a pointlessly pessimistic attitude.
I wouldn't say pessimistic.
It is.
I think it's a little bit psychotic, but it's not pessimistic.
I mean, okay, so what if you needed help?
Oh, bollocks. I hate when that happens.
What the fuck?
Sometimes it just likes to troll you.
Don't say that. That's not fair. You'd cleaned this area. Why were there organs in the bucket?
Well,
was there a dude up there? Did someone upper decker your fucking thing with a corpse?
I guess something.
The fuck?
Something up there.
Yeah. Oh, you crafty demons.
Well, it doesn't take too long to clean up again. The bucket thing does it sometimes as well.
Hello, I'd like a bucket. No, that's a big pile of eyes.
Oh, almost missed that.
Does it just go bing, you're done, or do you have to say you're done and then it gives you a percentage of how much you successfully cleaned?
Well, you have a special device. It does that when you're still next to viscera or loose objects.
Oh, okay.
I think there's one setting that shows loose objects you need to pick up, and one setting for stains.
Do those little lumps and bumps, like those bits and pieces, do those all need to go?
Yeah, I think you got to pick up all the shell casings as well.
Jesus.
Save that for later, because there's a lot of them.
They did not skimp on the fidgety.
I might as well just put these in now.
Yeah,
actually.
it's pretty much. May as well get on that.
I mean, I don't really like the shell casings aspect.
I think that's a bit dicky.
That's just a bit tedious.
Yeah.
I know that's the point.
Points for realism.
And what do points mean?
Nothing.
Prizes.
Oh.
Here's a prize for you now, Box. Yummy, thank you, janitor. You're welcome, Box.
Big money. Big
Already I make
prizes.
up games to make the working day less of a grind.
Less of a miserable soul-crushing grind.
I think that's an ear.
I think it's a bit of jaw.
Oh, okay.
That's brain.
Here's some
Or some
brain.
head.
I love brain.
Yeah, I think you're in the head department.
Yeah, someone's head exploded over here. I think someone was stomping on a head.
Possibly. Chewing on it.
Anyway, before I was criticizing you for your for fuck's sake.
Ha 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 ha.
Bloody physics. Before I was criticizing you for your misguided philanthropic act, we were talking about E3.
Yes.
So, is there anything that you are let's say, feeling positive about? That's a good word.
Well, generally I like keeping an eye on Nintendo because come what may, they'll generally do the thing that's at least interesting. Like Crazy Uncle Nintendo are usually, here's a wizard to like...
They are in their own little world, aren't
Yeah,
they?
which, I mean, to me, that makes them less predictable, so that makes them more interesting to watch. I kind of already, everyone already has an idea what Sony and Microsoft are doing by the time they get there.
You really think Nintendo are less predictable?
Well, I mean...
When they brought out yet another Zelda game.
Well, yeah, but they're going on about it being, like, open world, which is a fairly significant...
I kind of think of the Zelda games as already being kind of open world.
Well, yeah, but imagine now that this is a little bit more integrated into the sort of how they structure the gameplay. Like, that kind of independent choice is going to be more of an aspect of it. I think that's interesting.
What are you on about?
Well, like, the way you approach... Like, because you can't... Like, they're sort of open world, but, they're kind of linear. This time they're talking about it being open world as in you can, like, decide where to go and what to do and shit like that. So
so like Link Between Worlds?
A little bit, yeah. I think that might have been sort of like a testing ground for a few ideas, which...
That tends to be the case with a lot of things.
Yeah, which I kind of liked because the money thing actually made death annoying in Zelda, which gave it a reason to be avoided, which then made it, a mechanic. Whereas it's never functioned as a mechanic, really, because what happens?
See, I'm not a big fan of go wherever you want from the start gameplay, because the usual result of that is everything has to be kept at a sort of blandly level of difficulty.
I don't know, I mean, I think, what was it?
It's
Chrono Trigger, where
it's
it's
harder
just
to pace out the peaks and troughs, is what I mean.
That's true, but I think, you can just make areas like buttfuck hard, or... there's still ways around it, but I think again, it's the approach, the attitude, the sort of the enemy looked interesting in the little video they showed. So there's like a tech aspect to it this time, which I find interesting.
I'm just gonna use my bucket to move these.
Yeah, see, that's on work, at work innovation.
This is why I'm the senior janitor.
Yeah, and why I'm just the assistant. What was Rimmer's title again?
He was second technician. I knew that straight away.
Yeah, and what was Lister's again?
Lister was third technician.
Third technician,
and
that's
of
right.
course, Lister was the lowest ranked person on the ship. Rimmer was the second lowest ranked.
Yeah.
I mean, the man who changed the bug rolls ranked higher than us.
Rimmer. You're getting into weird territory with that impression. It just sounds strange now.
My Liverpool accent sounds too much like my Birmingham accent.
Okay. I'll take your word for that.
So yes, as well as the new Zelda, there's also Hyrule Warriors been announced. Well,
Yeah,
that's not a final title.
Well, that's just a skin for Dynasty Warriors. If you like Dynasty Warriors and you enjoy Nintendo, I'm sure that's like some big shit for you.
Yeah,
I don't really care for either, but hey, at least they're doing something different.
These corpses are annoying me.
Yeah, get rid of these guys.
Yeah. This is a pretty fat corpse. Unless it's just a bag full of parts.
Bag full of fat guy parts.
Come on. Physics. Yeah, I think Hyrule Warriors, from what I saw, just looks like... You know how Smash Brothers is just the company-wide masturbation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hyrule Warriors is just the specific Zelda masturbation. It's all full of old Zelda characters and old Zelda enemies.
Yeah, I don't begrudge them that.
I don't have any nostalgia for Nintendo at all. I was a Commodore 64 kid, so most of its stuff
Freak!
is almost completely lost on me, I'm afraid.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, for people who do have that lifetime of experience, it has value. God, you were the one of the Commodore 64 mutants.
I can't do this until that one burns away.
No.
It takes too long for these things to burn away, I think.
It does. Can you get, like, upgrades? Like, maybe now you've got the Burno Shit 5000. It tortures corpses in half the time.
That's another thing for you to note, early access alpha developers.
Oh, yeah, there we go. I just had an idea.
Well, everyone's got ideas. They're like assholes.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Finally burnt away.
Isn't that about opinions?
I've heard it said about ideas and opinions.
See, my response to the opinions are like assholes, everybody's got one, is like, yeah, but some people take the time to wipe theirs.
Oh, how Swiftian of you. What a riposte. Oh, a well-landed blow, sir.
It's true, though. It's...
What the hell? Oh, no. That was one I forgot about.
Oh, damn, I thought you'd, like, squeezed it out with the other one. Okay, now I gotta think about E3.
The other things Nintendo announced included Splatoon, which
That looks
is
kinda cool.
It's a new IP. You know what, I'm just going to show you what happens if you
Cool,
use
do
this.
it. Jesus.
Yeah. If you hold it too long, it leaves scorch marks.
Is that gonna... Oh, what?
Yeah, it's not actually that much more manageable than the
It's really not
force
that
fire itself.
helpful, no.
I just got some meatballs now. Alright.
Delicious meatballs!
Meatballs that are scorched so they don't bleed all over the floor. They have that going for them.
Oh. I suppose maybe a little bit of use to that if you got a lot of those bags.
So yeah, Splatoon was announced. I'm not sure if that's first party Nintendo, but if it is, I'm pretty sure they only created it so they'd have something new to add to Smash Brothers next year.
Well, that and there was
Can't
something
mind
else
the
they
NES
did.
forever.
There was something else they did.
Oh, this is new.
Huh.
I think that
Imps.
was an imp. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Mario Maker has been announced.
Oh yeah.
This is Nintendo's tacit admission that they don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore.
Or, you know, a reach out to the community to allow them to do something in an official capacity they've been doing sort of in an amateur capacity for a while.
Well, they're not going to create anything worth two shits.
To you.
Well, I don't see the point of games that rely on user-generated content.
A lot of people like them. I don't fucking either. I find all that shit kind of pointless. I like being told a fucking story. I like a beginning, middle, and end. I don't even like procedural shit. But, people seem to enjoy it.
I don't get things like Little Big Planet that try to appeal to a creative instinct when you could just, download Game Maker or Unity and make your own thing that doesn't have to be played through somebody else's game.
Okay, to be fair, things like that are a bit daunting to, like... People might grow from, like, that to sort of Game Maker and Unity. Like, that shit's,
Well, I did used to mess around with Duke Nukem Build a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah, so you grew from that tradition. You already had your childhood there. A lot of people weren't exposed to that, so they have to sort of... they have to grow a little differently.
No one else is allowed childhoods.
Yahtzee's was sad, everyone's is sad.
I despise children, I despised myself when I was one.
Yeah, I like getting old. The childhood of the good years.
There are
Fuck
things
you,
like-
your life's depressing.
There are things I can take or leave. The independence I like, the hair loss not so much.
it's creeping away.
Yeah,
You'll have a fine widow's peak.
bit by agonizing bit.
So what? I think it'll suit you. You'll be one of those old British dudes with a horseshoe and a paunch. We all knew that was where it was going anyway.
I feel I'm rocking a bit of the Tywin Lannister look at the moment, hair-wise.
I see that, yeah. Although, admittedly, like that, now that you've had the haircut, I can fucking see the fucking...
Yeah, you can see how far it's going back now, can't
That's
you?
some, perilously close to Yug grade.
No one will understand that, so shut up.
Like 3 people will. People we know do listen to these, which is fucking bizarre to me.
Well, they listen to our personas that we're putting on.
Yeah, that's true.
I find it's useful to separate things. As you said, I'm not like Yahtzee who makes the videos.
He really
in
isn't,
real
and
life.
when you meet him, you've got to... You have to understand that that's kind of a character, like...
Well, to an extent.
Yeah, I mean,
the opinions I express in my videos are, generally speaking, my opinion. Sometimes exaggerated a
Yeah,
bit.
that's the thing. It's exaggerated for effect.
But I wouldn't say I hate a game if I actually liked it.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
No.
Anything up there? Oh, I need to go up there somehow.
Oh. How, Daddy?
I could just step on a crate.
Step on your bucket. Alright, Splatoon looked kind of cool. I don't know if I'll ever bother playing it, but like, at least they did something.
I wonder if it's gonna have local multiplayer.
That's the fucking... Yeah,
It looked like an online multiplayer thing. Nintendo is pretty much the last bastion of local multiplayer in gaming, like living room, fun time multiplayer.
which I actually do find really fun and can't really do anymore. It's
And yeah, like, even
fucking irritating.
even shit like racing games don't have split screen mode anymore on the other consoles.
It's goddamn mental. I mean, that's one thing about Nintendo Land. That shit was fun for local multiplayer when you got some of that shit going.
The trouble with the alien jibs is that they're bigger than the human jibs. They don't fit so well in the box.
I don't want them to, like, come to life and try to kick you.
Shit!
I think that box is a bit full, dude.
No. There's always a little space.
Okay. Might be making extra work for yourself in the long run, is all. Whoa.
You're all fuck physics, fuck up.
See, demon feet, man.
Okay, I think we got away with. Oh,
That was the demon's foot that broke the camel's back. You can't just go jamming those things in there.
See, it's not just bewitching the minds of men. They gotta fuck up my bucket as well. Fucking demons.
Can't let us have anything.
So...
Fucking racists.
What else has Nintendo got? I think...
New Zelda, Splatoon, Mario Maker.
Not much else we didn't already know about. Bayonetta 2.
Yeah.
On the Wii U. I think they should add Bayonetta to Smash Brothers.
That would be, yeah, I should weirdly fit into that game, actually.
Well, you say that, but she's a little bit more sexualized than Smash Brothers is used to, isn't
Well, yeah,
it?
but her attacks, like her fight, like the way she fights is very large and sort of...
The way she fights with S&M gear, yes. I can just see the princess, like, getting locked on one of them wooden horse attacks.
Imagine if Kirby swallowed her and then had, like, kind of a gimp outfit.
Nintendo would not allow that in a million, billion, squillion years.
Yeah... Hey, does the laser go in the furnace?
Well, I say that, but there's plenty of cases of adult films being made into Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, like RoboCop. RoboCop was a hard R. And they, it's got a robot police officer, we'll make that a kid's show.
Well, RoboCop 3 was family friendly. There was a very short-lived Aliens Colonial Marines Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Look it up. Maybe you can find some stills. I think Hicks was a main character.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me because he was wacky.
No,
wait, that was the other one. I always get those two mixed up.
What next? I guess we'll finish off those alien bits.
Alright, what did Microsoft and Sony do?
Well,
Microsoft's
response was fairly predictable after last year. They made no promises. It's going to do that again, isn't it? Yes, it is. I'm learning to recognize the sound.
That's great. Like, I love that the leg came out in a really ordered way. Like, here's the leg you ordered! Maybe just leave that and Doug clean it up for now, because it's probably going to do it again. Like, they just get it all in one. Like,
I'll just take the bits.
Yeah, like, get the bits, but don't bother mopping that shit up if it's going to just give you legs every time you want a fucking bucket.
Oh dear, I think I have a physics object trapped in a solid thing.
Life's hard.
Fucking alphas. There we go.
At least it has that. At least you could, like, poke it out.
Mm. So Microsoft made no promises regarding TV or Kinect and just concentrated on exclusive games. Probably the smart move, but they didn't really have anything worth talking about. They got Sunset Overdrive.
Alright, what were the things that they thought were worth talking about that...
Oh hey, I found a note. Shall I do a dramatic reading? I've been asked again to reinforce the cell doors. I really don't see the point. They're strong enough. I mean, what could possibly get through those? I've got more important jobs anyway.
Okay, read it like a woman in a big dress reading her husband's, like, war poem.
I'm not sure if you've got to destroy evidence like this as well. Better safe than sorry.
You just picked up fire. Yeah,
yeah, rubber gloves, man.
It all goes in the furnace. The sweet furnace burns it all away.
He's my only friend.
Yeah.
I call him Johannesburg.
El Flambo.
So Microsoft announced another Crackdown, which I thought was a bit strange, because Crackdown 2 was absolute balls.
Did it sell well?
I don't know.
Because here's the thing.
I hope not, because it was basically just the same... The sandbox from Crackdown 1 copy-pasted with some new missions added. It was very half-assed.
Ah. That's good of them. It's kind of like what Capcom did with Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Yes, except I didn't like it.
You liked Ultra Street Fighter 4?
Oh, did you like Ultra Street Fighter 4?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the game itself is good. It's just they didn't even give it a different start screen. It still says Super Street Fighter. Like, it really feels like a mod that someone's made. Like a good mod, but
I noticed in Mario Galaxy 2. You know how when you start Mario Galaxy on the Wii screen, Mario goes, Super Mario Galaxy, in that voice of his.
Yeah.
Well, in Super Mario Galaxy 2, it's the same clip. He doesn't even add a 2.
Huh.
I thought that seems a bit half-assed. And there's another case, Crysis 3. When I put it in my Xbox 360, the dashboard art. Ah, fuck you, Bucket Machine. The dashboard art was the same as Crysis 2 by mistake.
Huh. It's little things like that where it's like it's little, but it's like also come on. Like.
Well, a lot of these games they're just building off engines that the company already have.
I mean that's fair. You don't need an engine, rejigger. Every week.
No, you very rarely need to design an engine from the ground up, especially not these days. Everything's licensed to buggery.
Mm.
You can pretty much.
This is on the Unreal Engine, isn't it?
You can get what's the word I'm after? Like uncopyrighted assets that you can use for any project as long as you pay a bit of money for them.
Huh.
There's like huge libraries of those.
So there's like sort of quasi-open source bits and pieces around that you can...
Sort of, but it might make your game end up looking a bit generic if you use those.
See, I don't mind a game looking a bit generic if it's like a vector for a decent or interesting story approach or character or something funny, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a generic look can be overcome with, I think, creativity and other aspects.
I don't know, you'd be surprised how much identity can be worn in something as little as a colour scheme.
Hey, look, that's his face.
Yeah, he's got mandibles and everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can fiddle the color scheme, though, couldn't you? Like, if you had one of those doodads.
I guess you could mess with the textures and stuff.
Yeah.
Mess with the lighting.
Well, no, I mean, you know.
But I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, I like to solo develop, as you know.
Yes.
I'm a bit of an auteur, and I wouldn't. I feel like it's cheating. I wouldn't feel like the game was mine if I used those.
Well, no, but I think again, it's a good starting point because I mean, a lot of the effort that you go to in making your games is drawing fucking sprites. Like, I've heard you grumbling about that for...
Okay, this is getting old, game.
I've heard you grumbling about, like, drawing...
Well, for God's
That's
sake.
Fucking great.
It must be like
Please more bits. Yes! Nothing but bits.
This must be a totally random number generator that works this out.
Sometimes okay, the bin you wanted to get the other bits is now filled with bits. Please push button for another bin and hope you don't get bits.
Sometimes this feels a bit self-defeating.
Yeah, this is the experience of cleaning. But I think this is like there's a positivity to sort of if you take your approach to a job that's never done as a good thing, you can kind of get through it.
You have to be philosophical, I suppose.
Yeah, that's it helps.
And it's not my problem. I get paid by the hour.
Yeah. I mean, that and your work's done when you go home. That's a big fucking deal. Like, going from doing, like, wage work to uni. It's like, oh, you know, it must be nice to be on holiday. It's like, yeah, I'm on holiday now, but...
That hand seems to be giving this box the shocker.
You've had that one particular thing on your mind for at least 2 weeks now.
What?
It was like when we were...
shocker?
Yeah.
Well, in the sense that all sexual-related things I have on my mind. Fuck you! Fuck you!
Including the Blumpkin. So
Microsoft...
What else? Microsoft did one thing. Ah, that's right. Capcom had the Ultra Super Dead Rising 3 Plus Alpha.
Well, Dead Rising 3 is coming out for PC soon.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, good. I can finally bother to play it.
Yeah, I look forward to all the other Xbox exclusives coming out for PC when the Xbox inevitably fails. It's almost... And they're releasing drivers so the Xbox One controller can be used with Windows. It's almost like they're preparing the way for the Xbox One completely failing up its arse.
And being abandoned for what is now, like, probably the better alternative.
Well, what is now and always.
Well, no. In the old days, it was bullshit. Okay, come on. Roll them dice!
Do we want to take a bet on this one?
Okay, I'm just gonna go bits, because I like saying bits.
Well, I'm gonna be hopeful and say box. Yes, I win. I win this round.
Of box and bits.
Yes.
Welcome back to Box and Bits.
So, Microsoft presentation, I found a bit lackluster. They had some, like, presentations of other companies' games that were being announced properly later. I think just to show off the Xbone's potential. But exclusives-wise was a bit thin on the ground. Just a lot of usual suspects. Oh, they announced a new Fable game. But it's 4-player co-op, so I have very little interest in that at all.
That was one funny thing, actually. I remember seeing a bunch of stuff about how many of the games were co-op, and like even like Assassin's Creed is co-op, and I'm just like, oh, Yahtzee's gonna love this.
Yeah.
Everything's co-op now, Yahtzee. You can play with your fucking friends.
I'll
come round,
and
that'll be it.
You'll come round and sit there and watch me play online with pubby assholes.
That's right, yeah, because there's no local multiplayer, so I'll come around and not be able to play with you, so that's...
Well, Assassin's Creed Unity is doing what the same thing Watch Dogs does, actually. The sort of seamless single-player to multiplayer thing.
How does that work, then?
Well, it's all like Dark Souls, where you're in a single-player map, and then...
He's a big bit.
You can just...
Put him straight in the fire, dude. Like, what is it?
Yeah, you can just go to a mission, like, seamlessly, and there are 3 other guys already playing it.
And
from everyone's individual perspective, they're all playing as the main character of the game. They're all doing the story.
Alright.
But
you're all like just a bunch of other random avatars.
Yeah, when you perceive other players, they're just, you know, a random dude.
Alright.
And that, incidentally, is why you can't play as a woman. in Assassin's Creed Unity because all of you are basically the same guy.
Alright. So that's the thing that people didn't understand and then threw a massive tantrum about.
Yep. It almost seems like after E3, everyone, like, after they've seen all the videos, everyone has a little sit down and says, right, what are we going to be arbitrarily offended by this year?
I read a game dev talking about it too, and it's explaining, look, you can't just go screaming like, these people are sexist, because A, there's like 1 million people involved in these things these days, and B, like, he was talking about how, like, the idea of, like, a female main character was in there at the start, and then it got put to the side because it's like, okay, we have to get, like, a game mechanic done. And then when they were thinking about putting it back in, it's like, okay, now that's going to be an extra 25 to 30 days of work, which apparently is huge. Like, apparently that really is because you need someone to do, like, concept art and then, write a script and then design the character. And
a lot of coordination has to go into it.
Yeah, that was the thing that got me, was it's easy to see...
And you can't just use,
Yeah, it's easy to see each task as relatively simple, but it's the coordination aspect of it, because it all has to be done by a certain time, too, because...
And you can't just create a model and animate it and use the skeletal of the same animation for a female model, because the proportions are different. Shoulders are narrower, hips are broader. The climbing animations would end with the hands and feet on different parts of the wall, for example.
I don't know. One of the complaints I read was like people should be thinking about that from the start, about adding a female character. And to a degree, I think most of these complaints are a bit asinine. I think with regard to something set in the French Revolution, there's a little bit of a decent reason for that, because the French Revolution actually was a really interesting time for feminism. Like there was the Declaration of the Rights of Women written then, and there were some, like, crazy fucking badass kill bitches that went around during that period.
That tends to be the case with peasant revolts, because they don't have, like, the backing of a system.
No, yeah.
That sort of keeps women in the gender.
Well, that early egalitarianism was reasonably fucking egalitarian. Everyone was, okay, it's my time to step up now, so let's take this seriously. And
yes, that's why égalité is right there in the
women,
in the French flag.
So I can't remember their names. I remember reading a bunch about them.
I don't want the table. I want the jib.
During the
thank you.
One of my little courses that I was doing. But yeah, it's legitimately interesting stuff. So I think there's like maybe a little bit of an argument that could be made that there could have been a bit of thought.
The argument that could be made is that they could have made a female protagonist, but I think at some point you have to bow to the story they want to tell.
Well, that's it. That's one of my problems I have with just in general with this kind of complaint is if you want to see your story, you have to tell it, because nobody's obligated to tell your story. And even then, you wouldn't want, like, would you want me and Yahtzee writing the definitive story of women? That's fucking retarded. I want to read and see and experience stories about people written by those people. Like, you have to create content. Like, that's how you address an imbalance, is by creating.
Yeah.
And don't worry about fucking AAA titles or like, it's got to be a big studio thing. Like, that fucking matters these days anyway.
I mean,
like, Yahtzee sits and fucking draws characters for his game that he's been working on for like a year or two now, a year and a half?
I think it's coming up to 2 years now.
Yeah, like he's been making that thing for 2 years by his fucking self, because he wants to see that shit. That's just what he does. You have to fucking do that. Go make shit.
And I've added a female player character.
How much work was that?
Quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, that's, again, like, would you want the female experience is represented by, like, me and Yahtzee, because as much as I think that there's universality in our experience, there's also tiny little details that each gender kind of will miss.
Yeah, I mean, a woman knows a woman best, right?
Well, like, again, not, like, major things, like, fears, loves, life events, stuff like that, but just tiny little details that give authenticity to experience.
So if there are less female protagonists, it's because there's less female game developers, and if there's less female game developers, then that surely is an issue for the education system, not the developers.
Well, I mean, and I don't say this as a sarcastic challenge I don't want fulfilled. I really want it fulfilled. I'd love to see, like, a crazy genderqueer coven make a video game because Tetris is too heteronormative. Like, if they did that, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm already interested in this. I want to see this. I want to see these fucking stories.
I'm fine with playing female characters. I don't have to always play as a white dude.
No.
I played as a gay man once.
He was the gay.
I've played as black dudes and women, and it has never bothered me.
One thing, if it's a game built around character creation and ego insertion, then yeah, you should have female models. It's retarded to not in that.
Yes, I was just gonna say. I mean, if you have extensive character customization,
the gender thing should be there.
In that case, it's dodgy if you you can't play as a woman.
Like, there are caveats to this, and again, there are caveats to this. We're not going to cover everything, but. I mean, one thing that does bug me is so often, like, people will yell that an individual creator's expression needs to fit in other stories that they may not be familiar with, they may not be good at writing. And I don't want that. I don't want every fucking thing to look like Captain Planet. Like, I'd rather instead of you complaining, go make a fucking game. You can do that. You can download any of those programs Yassi spoke about, and you can make a fucking game.
I don't believe in tokenism. I don't think that helps. I don't think that helps at all.
No, it's like going around and like trying to prove you're not racist by collecting a black friend like they're some kind of Pokemon. That's fucking disturbing. Don't do that. Like, you don't have to just sandwich, different people in there if that's not your story. You're telling your story. What's that do?
Dispenses lanterns in case you need it in the dark.
Oh, okay.
It's useful in the darker levels when you can't really tell if the floor's bloody or not.
Oh, that'll be fun. The place is actually starting to look clean now.
Well, some of it is, certainly.
Well, this is... See, I have a very optimistic attitude toward big cleanup jobs. You look at it and you go, I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, it looks, intimidating at first.
Well, that's the thing, like, I've done so many fucking, like, cleans to get Bond back, like Bond cleans.
Journey of 1,000 miles.
Yep.
So, just to summarize, the complaint about no women in Assassin's Creed is dumb complaint. The complaint about co-op in Assassin's Creed, a very valid complaint.
I think, like, complaint about it as a it's a problem of blaming individuals within a system for the actions of a system when either the individual actions are perfectly valid when they're on an individual level, or you're not voluntarily part of the system.
I think people are too quick to jump on irrational hatred as an explanation.
Well, it generates clicks, Yahtzee.
To paraphrase a famous saying, never attribute to malice what can be easily explained by laziness.
Well, I think that's another thing. Like, Google the story of Brosie the Riveter. I think that's a real good sort of example of this, where people are just going to make the stories they understand. They're going to think from their perspective. And, everyone does this. Gay, straight, fucking woman, whatever. You think from your sort of...
Fucking woman.
Fucking women. You just think from you. It's perfectly natural. You can't blame people for doing that. It's not even a bad thing. The problem is, just when it forms together. A bunch of perfectly valid independent actions can form together to, create like sort of a societal power. And again, you can't complain at people to not represent themselves. So the best thing you can do is make, because then you create like tropes and things like cultural illusions that we can all look at and refer to, and then then we have more of these, and it sort of expands, the...
Well, it's easy for us to say because we're so privileged and everything. But let's not...
I've taken those privilege tests. I'm, like, super underprivileged because I grew up in housing commission. It's fucking great.
Nice.
Yeah, I win, like, those arguments mostly.
Well, I think I took one of those tests. My result varied depending on how generously I define myself as mentally ill.
What did you get?
Can't remember now. If I assume that I'm not mentally ill, I'm pretty much maximum privileged. But if I add my anxiety disorder and issues,
I think you should.
I
think that's a fair. Like, you have anxiety disorder and social issues. I think that's a fair thing to put in.
Yeah, it goes down quite a bit after that.
Okay. See, I grew up in a white minority school, so I've got all sorts of like bonus things to like lack of privilege.
Yeah, it's not the whites, it's just whoever's in power is usually the asshole.
Well, again, yeah, power's a funny thing. And that's why I like that quote from Varys in Game of Thrones, where it's like, it's where you believe it to be. A lot of these times, it's not even that strong.
See, I was going to quote Lord Acton, absolute power corrupts absolutely, but sure, let's go for the nerd reference instead, you big geek.
Yeah, because we have no geeks in our audience, it's just...
Just saying, I think Lord Acton put it better.
Who is Lord Acton?
I don't know, I think...
Well, fucking thanks, yeah. Lord Acton, I don't know who he is.
Who he is the person famous for having said absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Alright.
I always thought Acton would be a good name for a evil future corporation.
He sounds kind of sci-fi-y.
Yeah. Act on.
Lord Acton!
We know what's best for you.
We have captured the princess.
So, well, to get away from the...
we descended around.
We descended into social justice complaining again. Silly us.
I don't think this was complaining. I think this was more positive. Like, again, it's a positive thing.
Let me just say, fuck Assassin's Creed Unity for putting co-op in it, because I had so much hope for that setting.
You did too. You were so excited. The second I saw it was like co-op, I was like, Yahtzee's in pain somewhere. I know it.
I love the French Revolution. It's a great setting for. It's a great setting for the.
It's a fantastically interesting period of history,
and a great setting in particular for the Assassin's Creed concept. But assassination, by its very nature, is traditionally a solo gig because you're supposed to just jump in, subtle,
jab it with your mop.
Jump
there
in,
we go.
stealth your way to the target, stab him, and run away again. That was how the historical hash-hash-ins worked.
Yeah.
It was all about, you know, breaking through the defenses and striking at the key figures behind enemy
Well,
lines.
that and an important aspect of it was to not look like there was a group behind it, so you gave them nothing to fight back against.
It was more. They were almost the traditional definition of terrorists, because that was part of their remit. They keep people aware that there are things to fear they cannot control. But anyway, so that's Assassin's Creed Unity. Oh, bollocks. That keeps happening. I keep standing on the bucket.
Oh, I knock over a bucket.
I'm the worst janitor. And I hate when you're carrying a heavy thing, you have to look all the way up because of the physics.
Although that kind of does simulate carrying a heavy thing that obscures your field of view. A little, like to a degree. Like I used to do removals, and shit like that'll happen where you're carrying like a bed frame or something, and you're getting like a quarter of the side of the top left of your vision.
Actually, I hang on to the empty bucket for some bits. So Assassin's Creed Unity, Sony actually had a surprisingly niche-y presentation. Had quite a few niche-y games, like they announced a Suda51 game with a trailer.
Oh, well, okay, is it a Suda51 game, or is it like produced by?
Well, this is the eternal question, isn't it?
Oh, hey, I think there's a corpse under the thing.
There's
there's a
something
bit,
under there.
there's more bits.
Well, I'm not sure at this point. It's called Let It Die. And
There's a lot of jokes we could make there, Suda, like you...
And the trailer just came across as like incredibly generic to me.
Yeah,
it's just violence happening in a dark place. So there's not much to say about that.
He's really quickly hit the Tarantino grade, like almost like just kind of doing the same thing now.
Yeah. Well, the Tarantino problem is when someone has too much creative control and just makes things shit that appeals to them and no one else. Suda51 just sort of makes shit, puts his name on it, and actually didn't have anything to do with it at all. He's almost the opposite of an auteur.
Walks off.
But what may be of more interest to you is that From Software announced their new game.
Is it like Dark Souls?
From what I saw, there was just like a pre-rendered teaser, but it seems to be going for a Dark Souls sort of vibe in a Victorian London sort of setting.
Yeah, see, I think I saw a little bit of the same thing.
It's called Bloodborne.
Cool.
And I guess it's going to have theme of, like, you know, infectious disease and stuff. Shit!
Buckets aren't good for transporting heads.
But that was a pre-rendered trailer, so it told us bugger all. Actually, most of the videos told us bugger all because they've figured out that pre-rendered trailers are bollocks, but they've got new tricks now. So now all the gameplay trailers are incredibly obviously scripted and choreographed as well.
That's bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
like how?
I mean,
We're gonna find out. We're gonna play the fucking game, you fucking retards.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, we're not. We have to buy it first.
Get them pre-orders. Get them pre-orders.
As long as we bought it on day one. Physics fuck up. Maybe that could be a good exploit for a speed run if you were planning to do one. Run across a loose object and it makes it go very fast.
Ping! I'd kind of want to see speed runs.
Once they've got your money, they don't care.
Yeah.
Box or bits? Oh, it's box.
I don't know. I don't think we'd do bits for a little while after that. Although you don't know.
Well, we got 3 in a row, didn't we? That time. I think it is.
If it's truly random,
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
You get nothing but bits. You'll never have a bucket again.
See, I think that's a bad way to go. What they should have done is, what I would have done if I'd programmed the game is maybe take a random number, maybe somewhere between 3 and 10, and then after that many boxes,
you have a possibility of
it disgorges bits. But just like each time a random chance of bits, I think that's bad design. That's me with my game design hat on. Any more blood?
It's a top hat with a daisy sticking out of it.
I think we've cleaned this room.
Check that little panel, because you keep being able to look at that and, like your hands, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Some levels of this game, it's like, boot camp level of tricking you in. Like, there's a level I played where you think you finish, but then there's a couple of vent cases and vent covers on the ceiling, and if you touch them, more guts fall out.
That's a bit dicky.
Then you have to go look for all of them. More dramatic readings.
Yes.
The results are more than I could have ever hoped for. My creation is showing a greatly increased pain threshold, and soon it will be my crowning achievement. Ultimate proof that I was right. This is the critical phase of the experiment, one I cannot afford to get wrong.
That's a really good Spanish accent.
His siblings grow restless now. I must tend to them, gringo.
And away you go, plot element. In the bin with you, nobody cares. Oh well. At least it didn't spill guts everywhere.
Sometimes shaking the bin helps. I get to...
Shake, 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 Sonora. You know, the more I think about it, the more that is actually reasonably impressive. Like, imagine trying to do that in Half-Life 2. Like, get something into a bucket.
Yeah, that they would have, like, gone catapulting across the room before you can say Jack Robinson.
It's such a funny response. Like, I'm sure there's a coding reason for it, but...
I think this is Unreal Engine.
Yeah, it had that at the start.
Yeah. Alright, I think this room's done.
Rock and roll! How long have we been talking for?
50 minutes.
Ah, sweet. Oh, we're almost done, then I get to go.
Oh, not almost. In like 10 to 20 minutes.
Alright, well, okay, you gotta do the back corner of this area, so you got body bags and shit.
Mm-hmm. I think there's another room as well.
Oh, God, there is.
And then there's the upper level.
It never stops.
Ah, yes. Just in there.
Well, that was fun while it lasted.
Well, let's shift some bodies. Well,
Come here, corpser.
This whole area is lovely and clean.
It is, yeah, it's nice to return to.
Spick and span.
Trapes and...
Box hasn't finished yet.
I really wish that shit had burned faster. That's kind of annoying.
Burn faster, body parts.
Yeah.
Selfish assholes.
Why don't you just throw it out the vacuum of space? Like, are we in space?
I'm not sure we are. We could just be on a planet surface.
Yeah, something.
Like in Doom.
Well, but if there's like a vacuum outside, or...
Just trying to think what else was announced at E3. EA announced the usual shit. The Sims, the new FIFA.
EA is like the Will Smith of gaming. Like, it's just every movie he's in, he's just Will Smith, and then it's like, here come EA to be EA.
Yeah, just another iteration of the shit you've already got.
Yeah.
Like, they're bringing out another Sims game. I remember when The Sims 3 came out, I was like, so what's everyone supposed to do with all these expansions they bought for The Sims 2?
Didn't Sims 3, only, like the whole of Sims 3 only come out recently? Like,
well, in the last few years. But that was the one game that also had, like, DLC and stuff that people have probably paid a lot of micropayments for.
Yeah, so is this a full, like, Sims 4? Like,
I'm not sure yet. I mean, knowing EA, almost certainly so. Because they've added, like, new emotion engines. How your Sims are feeling affects the way they do things. Like, if they're angry, they work out angrily. I'm sure that's worth a whole new bloody game for.
That sounds like Molyneux grade faff, really. Like,
well, I was watching the demonstration, and the woman presenting it made me want to spit up blood.
Really?
Yeah, she was just so...
EA finds the most fascinating replicants to come and talk human to us.
Made my skin crawl.
They're really good at that. Like, every time it's like, did you just get out of your pod? Like, what the hell?
Yes. Oh, look at this magical experience we can have with this game we've made.
Stop talking to me like you're a children's television presenter on MDMA.
What this game should have is, if you close the door and open it again, everything inside it's gone.
Or, you should be able to close the door. You should be able to pack stuff in and it'll burn, and if you close the door and push a button, it goes like...
Yeah.
And then
blasts
it away.
Like a crushing unit or something.
Yeah. Like a crushinator would be probably pretty good too. Gotta go get your bucket.
Because the other thing about E3 is that, like, a large number of the things were announced were all announced for 2015.
Well, E3 really mattered when there was only E3, really. Like, now there's, how many of these doodads are there? There's CES.
There aren't that many that have the same amount of profile. I mean, it's the one that gets all the attention. Yeah,
but there's, like, outsider and outside media attention, and then there's, like, ones that sort of...
Well, E3 gets the attention because E3 is the one all the developers and publishers announce all their stuff at. It's the trade con.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the trade con, it's the marketing con. The trade con for, like, actual game developers to come up and talk shit with each other would probably be GDC.
Yeah.
I went to that once. It was a lot of fun. Went to a round table about game writing. Made a contribution.
What did you contribute?
Well, I just mentioned that it was interesting that I just mentioned Half-Life 2's approach to characterization and how it seemed really glaring with Gordon Freeman still being a silent protagonist.
Yeah, I think, like, because Half-Life 2 hit in that kind of midpoint where... You know, like, it's very storytelly, but it's also still very gamey.
I guess.
You know, like, some of them are trying to get away from that kind of game and go more the interactive movie route, whereas I think, like, Half-Life, this is, you know, the Half-Life series sort of has that, it still has a foot very much in the old video game sort of mentality. Do you think they're going to change that? Do you think they're going to make him talk? I think it's too far gone, honestly.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think it'd just be weird hearing him speak at this point. Just someone shoot his voice box and we'll all move on with our lives.
It's too integral to the, well, I say character, to the presentation, let's say.
Oh, you mean you don't think they're going to give him a voice?
No.
No, neither do I. I don't think... Do you think it'd work if they did? Do you think it'd be a good idea? I mean, I think it'd just be...
I don't think so, no. I think it would just be distracting.
Yeah, and there'd be an argument and a fight, and it's like, his voice is stupid because it doesn't sound like I thought it would.
No, there's really no point in doing it at all, really.
No. I mean, like, again, I think it's a suspension of disbelief that we've already well and truly suspended. Like, I don't think we need to pretend.
It's all about, you know, letting the player inflict whatever personality they want. On the character.
It's interesting to have that kind of thing where it's in that, yeah, that middle point between sort of the high-end characterization and the sort of more just egoless avatar, because he started as an egoless avatar, but then he just picked up an awful lot of character along the way.
Yeah, I think we've discussed that. He sort of gains a personality just by virtue of the way people react to him.
So the space around him creates the shape.
So... E3 was its usual series of hype bollocks that no one should get excited for because you'll always be disappointed.
Yahtzee, who won? Because no one will click on this if we don't
Nobody
say who
won. I'll tell you who lost. The universe.
The universe lost.
Universe lost for having...
E3 won, universe 0.
For having had to host the fucking thing for another year running.
You know what would be great? If we had, like, space travel, like, if we were the advanced species, I'd completely go around to, like, sort of other planets and watch for shit like this, just land, declare their version of E3 a massive crime, and that we're gonna blow up the planet, and then while they're all panicking, just leave.
That's a strange fantasy to have.
Come on, you telling me you wouldn't come with me and do that? That'd be hilarious.
Well, maybe.
Yes!
I'd need to check and make sure that the alien species... every individual didn't have any inherent value first. So, yep, same as humans.
That's right,
Carry on.
Yahtzee Croshaw, the Inquisitor. Do you have inherent value? Nope. Fuck you then.
Well,
who has inherent value by your... Like, is it just doctors, or do the video game reviewers have inherent value in your, you know, system somehow?
Well, when I say something doesn't have inherent value, I'm not saying then we might as well destroy it. I'm saying it has to earn value.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm saying it's like...
Well, so I can't do anything nice to something if it doesn't have inherent value?
Look, you're a pro-choice, right?
Huh? Yeah.
Well, this is a pro-choice argument.
No, but you're talking about things that are, like, people. Like, a blastocyst is not a person.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's...
But also, I'm losing my train of thought, to be honest.
Yeah, we started on abortion and you got to thinking about sex. As per usual.
Sorry. No, just like...
his abortion talk.
I think the fact is, you can't really state potential as a reason for something to exist. Because potential can go both ways, and it's such a nebulous concept that it basically has no value.
Well, it's not about potential, it's about the fact that I'm not the only existence.
Well, yes.
Like, that's the thing, I see everything as... And so, if I want that degree of treatment, I feel it particularly valid to...
I'm not asking for the same... I'm not asking to be spared. I'm saying if you think... I'm happy.
What would you do in the Thunderdome world, Yahtzee? Because I can fight, and I'm not afraid to eat human flesh.
I would die immediately, and I wouldn't care, because I'd have no skills that would be applicable to that world.
I am super holding you to that. I cannot wait till we run out of fuel. What are you going to do? Are you going to, like, volunteer to be eaten? Like,
you won't believe me when I say this, but I don't think I have any fear of death. I just don't. I've thought about it, and
Death doesn't concern me.
I just seem kind of philosophical about it. I'm afraid of dying in a horrible, painful way.
Like being eaten by a bunch of marauders.
I'm afraid of pain, but I'm not afraid of death.
See, pain doesn't bother me either.
Sounds quite restful, really.
I think you can endure it. Like, you can focus your way through a lot of things.
Well, that takes practice. I don't intend to
So,
get
okay,
that much practice.
if we were in the Thunderdome realm, and there were, like, two societies, there was mine that, like, accepted that you were a valid existence, and then there were the marauders that wanted to just eat you. Like, you wouldn't go, hey, I should probably make my way toward, like, Gabe's territory. I mean, what if I started choking you now? You'd fight back. Like, you're not gonna just go, oh, well, that, you know, that looks like it's the end of me, and then just die.
That's something I can help.
Not really.
Oh, listen to you.
I'm like, we've had this discussion. When you were drunk, you punched me in the stomach a bunch. I even let you do it at full force. What effect did that have, Yahtzee?
So you're saying that if you immediately started... If you had set your mind to it, you would definitely be able to kill me, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it.
Unless you, like, had a Batman level of armaments on you, yes. You have zero fighting, but you've never been in a fight.
Well, no.
Well, there you go. Have you any idea how bad people who've never been in a fight? I mean, you're not going to know what I'm doing to you, for starters, and then I'll get you in, like, a rear naked choke, and then you'll just go to sleep, and that'll be it.
Have you ever done this?
Yeah, I used to bounce. I mean, you're not allowed to rear naked choke people when you're bouncing.
But have you ever killed someone?
Huh?
Have you ever killed someone?
No.
Well, there's more to it than just the physicality and the actions involved.
Oh, so you're going on about the psychology of it now?
Yes.
Well, I'm not taking that as an element of it. So then you just, you got bits again.
Bloody bits.
I just love that the leg comes out just neatly, like, just delivers your leg. You know, I'm not talking about the psychology of it. The psychology of it's a given in this hypothetical. I'm talking about the physicality of it. And again, like, that's what I mean. You'd resist, and if there were two camps, you'd be like, I'm gonna make my way to this, because you still want to live. Like, you know, as much as I'm not bothered by death, you're gonna fight it.
Well, maybe in that case, if there was a society that had a use for me, but what use would it have?
Bread and circuses, yards. Come on, don't sell yourself short.
Oh, could I be the commentator at the arena?
Yeah.
That's
practically that's practically a given.
I'd be sitting next to, like, a retired gladiator.
Yeah, retired gladiator.
What's your opinion, Grunthos the Leg Flayer? That's fascinating. You must have seen a lot of young hopefuls like Hap Blast the Bum Biter in your time. Do you think you could take Bum Biter? Well, you can hear about that and lots of other insights in your new autobiography, I believe. What's that called?
A Man's Mission. It's also available as an audiobook.
Oh man, you got articulate fucking fast.
Well, I had split brain surgery, so it allows me to fight as two different people.
Oh, well, that's good. That'll give you an advantage against Master Blaster, won't it? Oh, I think he's regressed again. Right, let's end that riff.
I mean, don't, like, as much as I'm comfortable, like, I'm not going to worry if I'm dying.
How do we get onto a conversation about whether or not I would succumb to death?
A waffle has many divots.
That's a good line.
Finally, a little fucking recognition, not some just stone-faced, bitter...
I recognize you probably could kill me, but I like to think of myself as more of a Littlefinger type.
Well, yeah, that's, this is what I mean, though, but, like... Littlefinger's also viscerally aware that he can't fight, so he avoids that shit. He's a suck-up. Like, that's what makes Littlefinger fucking dangerous, is you think he's your friend when he's not.
Game of Thrones is like a sequence of, oh, it's that guy from that thing moments. I didn't realize Littlefinger was the guy from the British version of Queer as Folk.
Was he? See, I knew him from The Wire.
I knew him from Queer as Folk.
And wasn't the British version the first version?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the first version. He was the very charismatic gay fellow.
I bet he plays very charismatic X in a lot of things.
Yeah, yes.
Because he played a very charismatic politician in...
Very charismatic friend-zoned dude.
I don't know, I think he's just, like, Sansa appears, like, ready to, like, step out of that.
Yeah, I'm liking that, I think what's cool about that relationship is that Sansa has power.
She understands now.
Yeah, she can turn around and tell the Vale like what the real truth was whenever she likes.
No, I think I think she's gotten it now. Like that little bitness just snapped.
Well,
It's like this is the world.
The point is that little moment where she meets Littlefinger's gaze when she's hugging the Lord of the Vale. I think that was a moment of I own your ass, Jimmy.
I don't think it was that so much. It was like I'm down with what you're doing. I think it's like she's you know, she's in on this little.
I think there was an element of warning there. There was an element of watch out for me.
I bet you weren't expecting Game of Thrones talk at the very end here.
Yeah.
What can we spoil nice and quick?
I don't think we've spoiled anything.
No. This is like you know, it's like I had this discussion when my TV lecturer wanted to play the last scene of Sopranos in the lecture. People were like, "Oh, it'll spoil it," and it's like, no, it really doesn't. Like, you have to understand that it does not ruin the experience of the show in one you know,
well, it does spoil it because you know what's going to happen, and you'll be thinking that the whole way through. I mean, you won't be surprised by it.
I don't think it was really fair to think that Tony was in any actual mortal danger throughout the show.
I never watched The Sopranos. Are you spoiling my ass?
Yeah. I'm gonna ruin The Sopranos for you.
Well, I already knew how it ended anyway.
I think at this point most people do. Like, I think it's a tough one to have avoided.
Yeah,
Another thing I hate about the spoiler complaints, if you've ever watched The Simpsons, you have had most of, like, early pop culture basically ruined for you.
Well, yeah.
Planet of the Apes, that was a big deal.
Oh my
Spoiling
god.
Green, another big deal.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
It was Earth. All Simpsons quotes. Gotta pack that in.
Just do it. It feels good. Just do it. Just go with it, Yahtzee. I wonder if you can put little bits of skull in the first aid kit and close it.
Well,
let's find out.
Let's experiment. No. That's a resounding no there.
You ever get the feeling that, you know, there was just... We're looking at what would happen, you know, were a supreme deity to be making a universe, just trying shit out. It's like, well, I've given it this basic set of physics, close. Oh, that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's basically what physics engines are.
Yeah. It's kind of fun to watch the evolution of them. Like, what are they going to be like in, 50 fucking years?
Well, very
what
bloody
complicated. What are we going to be doing in 50 years?
Very bloody complicated, I would imagine.
Would you buy a sex robot? Because the more I think about it, the more I think I probably just will. Like, I'll go, it feels weird, but then it's like,
I don't know. A lot of it, as we were saying last week, a lot of the important part is the emotion of the experience.
Yeah, but think about how advanced this shit'll be by then. Like, people form emotional attachments to...
But it doesn't matter if you know it's fake.
Yeah, it doesn't.
If you know it's fake, you'll always have that in the back of your mind. If someone, like, tricked you and let you think you were a fucking real person, then it might have impact.
Well, yeah, that'd be worse. Like, I'd rather, if you know it's fake, it's fine. But I mean, you know, people form attachments to fucking all sorts of fucking things. It doesn't need to be.
Yes. I mean, there's routinely stories of Japanese men marrying their pillows.
Well, that and, like, the American military has given actual military honors to robots.
Well, someone's final message to the world has just been erased forever. Hope he didn't go through life hoping to leave some mark.
Yeah, nothing matters. It all gets cleaned away in the end.
Basically, it's probably this guy.
Yeah.
Probably whatever the fuck this is.
Ah, it looks tasty.
I think this is just an uncooked schnitzel that someone's covered in cherryade.
A little bit of red sauce to go in. Some... Is that a small intestine? No, large intestine, because it's a long and thin one.
I think this is a heart.
That doesn't look like a heart.
Well, it's got bits attached.
The fuck hearts have you looked at?
Well, the heart is...
It looked like a torso of a child.
Heart is attached to parts of the duodenum, I think.
Heart bones connected to the...
What were we talking about? We were talking about spoilers a while back.
Thunderdome, Sopranos, spoilers.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. It's been a wild ride.
So if we were in a Thunderdome world, you can be Gregor Clegane and I'll be Littlefinger. How about that?
That sounds about right.
We'll travel together on Little Horse and Cart.
Wait, I'm not Mountain Big though. I'd more be the Hound.
Okay, you can be the Hound. Well, you're not even the Hound big.
No. That's the thing. People call me big. And it's like no. You see that like Finnish monstrosity that they had play the Mountain. And it's like that thing is huge. He is a cheat. It's not fair that things get that big. That's just ridiculous.
You can be Tyrion Lannister then.
I think that's even less appropriate.
Armed with a shield.
Armed with a shield. You can get a lot accomplished with a shield.
Yeah.
You killed a guy with a shield.
Yes, I know.
You can be my little Arya.
Are there any short, stocky warriors in Game of Thrones? I'm trying to think now.
No, because they all just get bodied.
Is there anyone with your particular gorilla-like build, because your lower body is almost half the size of your upper body, you weirdo?
I do a lot of leg work, it just, my upper body lacks mass.
Just
I don't
doesn't
know.
seem to be taking, does it?
It's really weird, like, I'm still getting chest hair, and I'm a 31-year-old man. I swear I'm going through some kind of bizarro late puberty.
I think I grew all my body hair in, like, my late teens.
I call it tubity, because it's the second one.
I think there's a lot of emotional maturity goes on throughout the 20s.
I think, yeah, that I think me too. Like, when you're 20 years old, yes, you're technically an adult, but 10 years ago you were 10 and nobody cares what you think. When you're 30, 10 years ago you were fucking 20 and an adult. When you got 10 years of adult and shit under your belt, then...
Hey, this guy's called Ben Dover. Is it dramatic reading time?
Yeah, but read it as what you imagine bend over to sound like.
I'm just about to start in a lisping gay voice there, but then I thought that might be completely the wrong road to take.
Do it. I want to hear your lisping gay voice.
Oh god, the scream, the sound of swords and machinery, the roaring and restless groans from the cells. It's too much. It's all so wrong. I have many gay friends.
That was Snagglepuss. That was not remotely like... That was a bad Pink Panther impression.
He was kind of lisping gay, Snagglepuss.
Exit stage left.
He's stage left, even.
Yahtzee Kershaw hates the gays.
I think we should stop this video, because we're about done.
I thought it was just getting good. Just got some fantastic material out of you.
I'm gonna...
Throw a bucket. Yeah!
Fuck my life! Fuck my life!
Oh, that just made me queasy.
La 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 la.
Hey Dave, are you done cleaning this room?
Resigning in style, resigning in style, resigning in style.
Try and paint a big middle finger. It doesn't even go on there. Well, fuck you, game.
I got the wrong angle. No. Hang on.
Alright, well, we just ran around flinging shit.
Just a sec.
Oh, maybe you just add up goo.
Bollocks.
Huh, so you can just shake the goo off.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh, it sort of does. I mean, it can't hold infinite. Alright.
See, it's back now.
Alright. I tell a lie. Oh, it does. It runs out and then it starts mopping again. See?
Why?
Yahtzee was here.
Why for Yahtzee? Also, why for Yag? What did you do to this room? Good night, everybody.
Total pip.
You know, viewers, last time I picked the game, we played Brutal Doom, and we all had some jolly good fun with that, didn't we, Gabe?
Yeah.
But I don't think it was a responsible way to teach people how to take care of their environment.
And that's an important thing in this day and age.
So in order to teach responsibility, now that we've had our fun with Brutal Doom, now we're going to clean it up by proxy. In Viscera Cleanup Detail. Still early access after all this time. In this game, you mop up blood in the aftermath of a hideous space disaster. Involving monsters, probably.
You're missing some.
Well, my mop's gotten a bit too bloody. And I need to find a bucket to dunk it in.
Oh, well, there might be a bucket.
Yeah, there's a bucket dispenser and dispensers for a couple of other things.
Okay, so is this a linear thing where you have to, or is it just to get all of it?
You just get all of it.
Alright, so you can just walk through and get like a bucket and it's no biggie.
Yeah. Okay. I think the smart thing to do is to clean up the area around the disposal furnace and the dispensers first.
Slosh-o-matic!
So, here's a good place to start.
Slosh on it.
First thing we gotta do is get rid of all the bits, because if you drop the bits or let them or scatter them around, they'll cause more bloodstains.
Oh well.
So we have to be smart.
They're a tricky bunch.
Get rid of them first.
What bit's that? It should tell you what the bits are.
Know.
It should be educational as well.
Yes. Consider that, developers of Viscera Cleanup Detail, for the full version that will probably never
the
come.
body is full of a delightful variety of lumps and things that you can, be cleaning up, and you can all learn about them.
There is quite a bit of attention to detail in this already. Sometimes you find, like, data pads left behind by the soldiers that killed the aliens
Do
and
they
saved
have
the day.
like fluff text in them and shit?
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
sweet.
all related to stuff that's completely nothing to do with us, because we're just some kind of Jobsworth in yellow kitchen gloves who's just play on Aerosmith's Love in an Elevator.
Oh, okay.
That would have been fucking hilarious to people who've heard that song.
Yeah, see, I don't listen to Aerosmith.
You're wrong to not do that.
Yahtzee loves power metal. Or whatever variant of metal that is.
Yeah, that's what happens if you let the mop get too bloody.
Damn.
Keep splashing
This
stuff.
game's strict.
It is quite ruthless. I mean, the bucket gets bloody really quick as well. You have to get a new one.
Careful, it's gonna start squirting blood, and that looks like it's probably done too. Yep.
Yep. To the furnace with you.
Oh, so you gotta put everything into the goddamn furnace.
Yeah, I think that's kind of dumb. I think you should be able to just empty the bucket and refill it somewhere. But no, you just have to get another one.
Well, you know, it's the hyper-capitalist future where everything is disposable and you don't matter.
They've probably invented replicators by now.
Yeah.
So who the fuck cares? Have all the buckets you want.
I have 1,000,000 infinity buckets.
Bucket a little bit stained with blood? Chuck it away! Burn it!
Fucking get rid of it. You don't need to stand for that shit.
Well, I suppose it makes sense to burn stuff since we're covering up a disaster.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, too. There's probably an evidence disposal aspect to this.
There
Oh,
we
look
go.
at that.
Disaster? What disaster?
Swish.
Oh, that one.
Bring in the next layer of scientists.
Right, well, this is going to get samey.
Really? Ooh, look at that. Look at it. Look at it.
As I said, physics fuck-ups abound. Oh, bollocks!
Ah, marvelous.
Luckily, that's easily fixed.
That's great.
Actually, we've got a ready-made part container now. We can just pick up some bits.
Hey, what's that doodad?
What do that?
You walked past a fucking gun.
Oh yeah, the gun. You can break up large physics objects into smaller ones, but I don't try not to use it because if you hold it for too long, you leave scorch marks. Look, I made a little prize basket for someone.
Everybody come get your lucky dip. I got a torso.
Prize basket for Mr. Furnace.
Is there a way of cleaning your feet? Like, how many times will you track blood around?
It don't track it for too long,
Yeah.
but you do have to be mindful of it. Actually, there's a slippy bit of floor here, which is annoying. Yeah, I quite like this game, you know.
I know. It's a sad testament to how much I genuinely enjoy cleaning and just neatening things up that this is actually enjoyable to me.
Yeah, it's alternative, certainly. It's another of the mindless games I like to listen to a podcast and play. Although there's no real like progression, you don't really, win the level and move on to the next one. It's just all there at the moment.
There is no winning.
Because that's just life in the cleaning corps.
Yeah,
There's always more shit to clean up.
you're never making progress because it's all undone. It's the perfect Sisyphean task. You work really hard and you achieve, and then it's all for nothing.
Some bits I missed.
Like the bits.
Some fun in there.
That guy's having a nap. He's having a nap, that's all.
He'll soon be having a very clean one.
You want to spruce up my corpse? Just get under the eyelids. Make them look lively.
Well, anyway.
Lively.
I don't know why, just being a schlub working a job games appeal to me.
I remember when, exactly this was a joke, a little while ago, when people were going on, I think it was during the racket of one of the first GTA games being a bad influence, and, I was like, why don't we just make a game where you're a fucking warehouse worker or a cleaner, and you can't be influenced to do anything but a menial job you'll be stuck in for most of your life. And then they do that, and then it's weirdly fun.
Well, yeah, that was in Shenmue, wasn't it? You could be a forklift driver for a while.
What can you tell me about the 4 voodoo?
And there are plenty of actual forklift simulator games now.
Yeah.
Let's covering up deeds of hideous tragedy for the sake of our corporate masters.
I imagine there'll be a future where something like this exists. Just, maybe, 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years, when shit's just... There's, 12 trillion humans. Nobody really cares anymore. We run into new alien species all the time. And now...
Bollocks!
Okay. Way to go, Yahtzee! First day on the job, flaming bucket of gristle.
What's good?
Yummers.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't mop up this area first.
Yeah. You have to, can the mop? I think that fell out too.
Did it? No, we're good.
That's good.
Because you also track blood around if you stand in the bloodstains. So that's why I save mopping up till last.
Ah, that's... Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I was gonna go, alright, bust out the mop, off we go. That's my inexperience showing, you see?
That's why you never make it in the janitor course.
Nope.
What the hell?
You're Rimmer, I'm
you-
Lister.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
I caught it. I'm the best janitor.
Yeah, you're Rimmer, I'm Lister.
I am.
I'm your assistant.
This game is plagued by physics bugs because it is early access.
I could see.
But having said that, it is quite impressive that they managed to put physics objects inside another physics object
And not have it.
without having it completely spaz out.
Yeah. That actually is, yeah. Because normally every time you do that, it just... First thing it does is go apeshit.
Right, were there any more bits around here?
Nah.
Can we start mopping away?
Looks pretty bit-free. You might need a bucket to wash it, though.
Oh, hang on, does this open?
That's like a whole other level. I'd leave that for later.
Well, let's just see. Let's just get a lay of the land.
Alright. For all we know, this could be a load screen, and that means you have shit.
Okay, we'll take care of that later then.
That's... Okie dokie. You got blood in the elevator.
Oh, blood in an elevator. Sorry,
What's that?
that's my bucket.
Oh, okay. No, I know what the bucket is. I was talking about your blood in the elevator song.
Oh, it's the beauty of video games.
See, this is what I mean about, like...
I mean, this isn't necessarily a new thing. I mean, back in the old days, in like Commodore 64 days, you could just have a game where a man was mowing his lawn and being
Commodore
distracted
64
by dogs.
was a bit of an odd place, though. Like, if you just had consoles, you didn't see that shit. Like, I had a cousin with a
guess
Commodore
not.
64, and I saw some of the better games, but unless you actually own one, you didn't really see all the kind of weird shit, like the little homebrew, or, you know, individually written. Back when games were written.
Yeah, you've made that point. There were a lot of. It was quite a bedroom programmery age
Yeah.
because most games were just made by one guy with a computer in his bedroom.
Before there were, you know, bazillion-dollar AAA teams.
I'm pretty sure we need to get rid of these too. Better safe than sorry.
In you go.
Okay, let's try and work
Come
this in
on.
sideways.
Come on.
There we go.
Work for daddy.
We'll just push that in. I do like the sort of the subtle humour of walking into a room where there's someone's written "Save us" in blood on the wall, or "There is no God," and we just gleefully, just like that, and we just gleefully clean it up, whistling as we do it.
Yeah, there is just...
Oh, more work for me. Oh,
What do I know? I'm just an illiterate cleaner.
more than my job's worth.
This feels like it could be tied into Space Quest quite easily.
There were actually bits in Space Quest where you
Yeah.
did have cleaning up mini games, like in Space Quest 5. But anyway, shall we talk topic? But what
well,
possible,
can we? Yeah, it's been
what
slow.
possible topic could there be
Been a slow week, man.
in this week in early June? That was a facetious thing, for of course E3 has just been and gone. Did you pay much attention? I had to, of course. It's
yeah,
my
you were
job.
forced to.
But did you?
No. I let it
see,
filter
I'm-
through various other sources. So I have